G'day guys, this week I'm here with the BMW iX, and not just any BMW iX, but it's the xDrive45 M Sport. And this thing looks absolutely beautiful. I know that looks are a little bit speculative. Some people love it, some people don't like it. I quite like it. It's futuristic. There's a lot of leading edge technology in this particular car when it launched originally that still continues to be kind of like a pioneering bit of technology. One of those, I'll start at the front before we get into the specs, and that's this. It's kind of like a DNA little embossed, embedded front kidney grille area, but if you were to get stone chips or any other kind of scratches on this can actually heal. So applying a little bit of heat to it should smooth it out so that you have a nice, big, prominent kidney grille, but without any damage that is from little stone chips or anything else that you might pick up along the way. That bit of technology there isn't something that's all too common on most other cars. In fact, quite often it's only really found in the paint protection films or paint protection wraps that some people use to cover their cars, and that's one of the cool things there. The other cool thing is this camera here actually has a washer jet that comes out and washes the camera for you. So if it gets a little dirty, this opens up and squirts your camera for you, giving it a nice clean finish so that you can park nice and neatly. Parking sensors at the front and this beautiful LED wraparound kind of edging to that kidney grille blends nicely into the LED daytime running lights, giving the car quite a striking presence, particularly at night if it's following you or if you're being approached by it in the street at night. In fact, I think this would be super cool and the type of car that Batman or some sort of superhero would probably be using. It just looks awesome. I really, really like this car. So for me, the iX is something I've always wanted to drive. It's never quite worked out in terms of timing every time that I've tried to schedule one for me. The only availability has been when I've not been available, and finally, having had the opportunity to drive this, I am absolutely in love with this particular car. Now, the rest of the car, let's have a look. Now, being the 45, this particular car has a little bit of extra power, has dual motors, and is great for 300 kilowatts worth of power and a whopping 700 Newton meters of torque. Now, that is impressive because this launches from 0 to 100 in simply a mind-boggling speed for such a large family SUV. It does it in 5.1 seconds, which is fantastic. Now, the color behind me is frozen deep gray metallic. It's a BMW individual color. It's paired quite nicely with the BMW Design Studio vegetable tanned natural leather that is in this car, which complements and looks absolutely schmick. So let's move around to the side, see what else you get. Now the wheels, they're 22-inch BMW M wheels. They're an individual option, and the wheel option itself is $2,500, which pairs quite nicely with the exterior body paintwork. So that frozen deep gray metallic, that's gonna set you back $5,500 for that paint option. The tires themselves, they're wrapped in a EV-specific Hankook design tire. It gives it really good stability and handling when you are throwing it about a bit on the road, but also really good stability in the wet when taking off. With an EV, that can sometimes be the one area where cars like to have a little bit of slip. This puts the power down really, really nicely. And also it keeps it incredibly quiet and comfortable inside with a very nice ride comfort level, given that they are such big tires. And that's in part due to the air suspension that has been optioned on this particular car, which is an option of $4,000 on top of the purchase price of this car. Let's continue around the car. Camera systems, you have them everywhere on this car. Front, back, sides, wherever you need a camera, there is guaranteed to be a view available to you. A camera on the side of this car, right on the wing mirror. The wing mirror itself, nice and sleek and matches the exterior paintwork. You can see that there's no door handles. That's been designed this way in order to save some aerodynamic efficiencies through there, but also to give it a really cool design. But what I like about the way that BMW has executed on this is that they haven't given it a weirdly complicated handle or some futuristic experiment that then no one is going to ever know how to get in and out of, and everyone is going to hate you because you're going to constantly be having to be explaining how to use what is meant to be a super simple feature. BMW's made it simple. Stick your hand in, click the button, pull it. simples. Now, one of the features on the BMW iX that is often overlooked by a lot of people is the carbon reinforced plastic structure. Now, it's basically a carbon cage to keep your family safe. If you've looked at a BMW i8, for example, which was a performance car of the mid-2000s from BMW, that was also a hybrid and is just a beautiful piece of motoring engineering, that also has it. So this is basically technology that's made its way down from premium sports cars and supercars, basically down into a family passenger vehicle to give your family just that little bit of extra safety and security and peace of mind as they're traversing this beautiful big country of ours on their next adventures. So absolutely beautiful here, and having it exposed and visible so that you can see that your family is a little bit safer is one of those cool little features about the BMW iX. There's just so much about this car to talk about that you just can't fit it all into one review. So make sure you go down to a BMW dealership and just spend some time getting to know the car. It is fantastic. Now, because this particular car has been fitted with the executive pack at $6,500, the car also comes with soft close doors, which means if you don't quite close the door, the car will do it for you. It will do it nice and neatly, and obviously you have the frameless door design as well, which gives it quite the sporty looking feel to the car without you necessarily having to have a sports car. Doors open quite wide, which allows you to get in and out of the back really easily, and I like that quite a bit. The exec package also gives you the rear window privacy glass with sun protection glazing. It gives you heated seats and ventilated seats and a couple of other nice little features. Around the back you have the beautiful tail light design and of course a very generous boot space, which today is packed with quite a number of things. As you can see from our testing, we've got a Samsonite Proxys large suitcase here. We have a Samsonite backpack here. We have a duffel bag just here, and we've got plenty of space for adventures. I do really like how it has this at the back here, so that if you do have your tailgate open, you're not gonna have someone accidentally not paying attention and not seeing you. You're gonna have that red corner marker just to let people know that, hey, you know, there's something to be mindful of, which I do like about that as well. And of course, the electronic tailgate can be programmed in terms of height opening, as well as the opening and closing function. So I really like that. Let's have a look inside. Now, moving through to the inside, you get to experience a beautiful premium interior that only genuine leather can actually deliver. Over on the doors, you have 2 memory positions for the driver's seat position. But on the passenger seat, you also get another 2, and I really like that because you can customize it to suit your needs. You do have an emergency door opening handle just here, and of course the button at the top here that you press to open and close the door. Power windows, power mirrors, central locking, all the usual things you'd expect for a car of this price point. And of course, just a very comfortable driving position and seat itself that makes it feel absolutely divine inside the car. Moreover, the other side of what it has is just, with all of the M steering wheels, just a really nice feel to the steering wheel. It's a very solid drive and just a very solid overall in-cabin experience. You do have a panoramic roof at the top here, which at a press of a button will become opaque just to limit the amount of light that's coming in and out of the car as well. And through the center, come through, let's have a look. Now, moving through to the inside, you have a massive digital display here, and it's incredibly seamless in terms of the functionality. The camera system works fantastic. Let's show you that now. So we're coming to a place where we want to find a car park spot. We've identified that there's a couple behind us. So we'll put it in reverse and we'll go start reverse parking. That's the bay that we want to go into. So let's let the car do what it needs to do and see if it gets us in there nice and safely. So it's working out when it can and can't do what it needs to do. It's bringing us to a stop when we can't. It's making the necessary adjustments so that we can maneuver safely back into the bay where we're trying to park. It has this green arc that turns different colors as it becomes less safe for the car to be in that vicinity. And it identifies the distances that are required for you to safely park your car and be good. As you could also see, it controls the indicators. One thing BMW owners generally are not that great at is controlling their indicators. the car will actually do it for you as part of your reversing. It may throw some people out that you're using an indicator and it's a BMW, but that's a whole different story. But how good is this parking setup? It did it nice and easily. It wasn't overly complicated. We didn't have to, go through 3 or 4 different algorithms in order for it to identify a parking spot. It literally worked out that we were stopped next to one. It quickly visualized it, measured it, put it back into its spot, let us proceed to it, and we were good to go. Now, if we wanted to drive out of here, it's just a simple matter of putting it into drive, and it switches it to the front camera so that you can see visibly, and you can even switch into the different cameras if you wanted to. The great thing is it actually visualizes exactly where the car is in a slightly different way to how a traditional version of this camera setup would be. So it makes it nice and clear to see exactly where you're trying to get a gauge to see perhaps if you're close enough to that curb, close enough or within the lines. And of course you can go back to just that forward facing camera. You can also go into the auto camera mode, which will work out exactly where it needs to go. The park assist view, it's just your parking sensors. So it's just letting you know that the parking sensors are in those areas and which ones are triggered currently and how close you are to each of those sections. Because often you hear all the beeping going on around you, but you don't really know how close you're getting to which section. This here shows you exactly which area you're getting a little bit too close and snug for comfort. Panoramic view just pushes this out so that you have a full visual directly out the front. And of course with mode, you can go through car wash, camera cleaning, and back to park view. So you can see why it's super easy to live with this car, because even if you're the least confident driver in such a big, spacious car, you will have plenty of assistance to get you parked nice and safely. And of course, beautiful, natural, soft, beautifully feeling seats. They're vegetable tanned natural leather. You do have a glove box that opens up just here, although it basically is just for your books because it doesn't really fit anything else. A massive dash, which is also wrapped in that beautiful, nice leather. In the center here, you have butterfly opening center console, which has plenty of space and depth. You have all of your controls here for that. You have a wireless charging pad, 2 USB-C outlets, and also 2 cup holders. The one thing I will say is these cup holders they work, but it's probably the only criticism I have of the whole car is they're just in a really awkward spot where if you were holding a drink bottle or getting a Macca's cup or whatever and having a drive and also drinking out of your cup, you're kind of always leaning forward to grab it. I feel like it would have been nicer to place them somewhere here where it's a little bit more accessible, but that's the only complaint I have of this car. So if you only have one, it's pretty good. Let's have a look at what you get in the back. Now in the back of the iX, it's a fantastically comfortable place to be. USB-C outlets on both of these back seats. You have some seat back holders as well. You've got your aircon controls to the back seat plus heated seats for the back 2 seats. You do have your ISOFIX points on the outer 2 seats. The quilting goes through to the whole back, and it's just that nice, soft, supple leather. The other cool thing, armrest comes down, cup holders pop straight out from here. Fortunately, the cup holders in the back are better placed so that they are in a usable position. You have bottle holders on the outer 2 doors, and of course the button releases on the outer 2 doors as well. You do have, down the bottom here, the manual release for the back doors. So it's not just digital or electronic, it does have a mechanical release for your doors. And it's in a place that's kind of common sense if you were looking for it to go. Although the one thing I would have liked is maybe for them to have been somewhere around here. In an emergency, it'd just be a little bit easier for someone to just naturally try to find it where they expect it to be. But that's not just for BMW, that's just any car. Down the bottom here is another cool little attention to detail. It's not a massive one when it comes to game changing or anything like that. I just like the attention to detail BMW placed on this car. So you pull this here, lift that up, and that reveals your ISOFIX points. It also makes it super easy to clean and vacuum anything that you have there by lifting that whole piece up, because that piece there would normally be where crumbs and things end up going down, particularly if you have kids. So I quite like that little design, and you just push it back down and it's back to normal. There's nothing really game changing about that. It's just a cool little feature. and the aircon vents are directly behind the back seats on the sides. So you will get aircon going to your face, but also you have this knee chiller here that will cool either the knees of the person in the middle or add to kind of another zone of ventilation for you if you are in the back seat and wanting to keep cool. The other cool thing is that glass roof as well. You don't really feel any heat coming through it, particularly in the opaque mode. And then once you open that up and you make it into the translucent mode, you still get enough sunlight through, but you still don't really feel any of that heat. So that's a really cool function as well. Coat hanger hook just here, and another swivel coat hanger hook just there as well. In true BMW style, this is just a very comfortable place to be. Let's go for a drive and let's see if you should consider an iX. The iX drives incredibly well, and one of the main reasons why it drives so nicely is you have a range of suspension options. One of those options is the dual axle air suspension upgrade, which is $4,000 and has been fitted to this car, plus government charges. And it drives beautifully. It absorbs every bump in the road. It absorbs the corners incredibly well to stabilize your experience putting the car into corners, and just makes the drive and the overall experience incredibly nice when you're driving around town. On country roads, that air suspension soaks up every bump absolutely beautifully. So despite having some bigger wheels that look cooler and fill the guards up a bit more, you don't have to make any compromises when it comes to the ride comfort, which is fantastic. The interior is a super comfortable place to be, particularly for longer road trips or just daily commutes around town. Heated and ventilated seats are part of what you get as part of the executive package that this car is fitted with. That gives you a man-made vegan leather interior. But also, the other cool thing with the iX that will add to that level of comfort or sci-fi, I'm not really sure what it will add to, but the cool factor is that the sounds that this car makes to sync up with some of the EV things that it needs to do, they're done by none other than Hans Zimmer, who has been the composer for some of the best movies that you have seen and the soundtracks that you have loved out of incredible movies, including Interstellar. So I like the coolness factor of exactly what BMW has done with that. The other thing is you've got a massive amount of displays here that kind of tell you everything and anything that you're ever going to need to know. So you're going to be able to see that nice and easily. And you've got some really good visibility around the body for just seeing out and making sure that you're going to always be alert of what the traffic around you is doing. There's tons of sensors around the car that will also give you a helping hand in letting you know when there's something sneaking into your blind spot, things that might need your attention when you're reversing, for example, or even as you're about to move forward. So just so much to love. The other thing that I really like is how they've executed the heads-up display on this car. So directly in front of the driver, you have quite a wide area of vision for the heads-up display, and it follows the design, including some of the visual lines that you find on the actual information display for the driver directly behind the steering wheel. So you get a really cool, consistent kind of flow, but also it's really wide, so you're getting a really clear, easy view. No oversensitive alerts that will do your head in with the amount of beeping and nagging that you're getting because you went 1 kilometer over the speed limit. No, BMW simply has designed a system that actually works and functions as you would expect it to, so that you can see for yourself when you're a little bit faster than maybe you want to be, by having the icon come up and give you that information on your heads-up display and in the visual representation directly in front of you, rather than just a series of annoying beeps like a lot of other brands are doing to tick a box. Likewise, driver attention monitoring isn't over sensitive and isn't overly intrusive. It just comes in when it needs to come in. The rest of your safety alerts basically work to make you drive safe. They don't make it to make your drive annoying that you then turn them off. The car is fitted with Harman Kardon sound system, which gives you a beautiful, beautiful interior audio experience. Unfortunately, because of copyright rules and YouTube, I can't share it with you. So finally, we've been on the drive, and now comes to the all-important one, which is charging. That is done through this flap here, and you have a couple of options. I do like how BMW has labeled them, so you have AC at the top and DC down the bottom. So To get to DC, you've got to press that. But if you're only getting to AC, you just press that. Now, I think that that's just a really cool and easy release and function, particularly for owners that perhaps haven't quite been used to charging cars before. A lot of other brands make pull-out plugs and things that are super hard to actually use. For someone potentially maybe a little bit older with a little bit less strength. Bearing in mind that a lot of BMW's clients tend to be a bit more mature, some maybe quite a lot more mature in terms of age and progressed in age. So that is one little handy feature that they have done just there. The reason I also like it is that the AC side of it gives you 11 kilowatts worth of charging from home. So if you have 3-phase power or you're out somewhere and there's a 3-phase connection point, you can charge up to 11 kilowatts worth of speeds. That will give it a really good amount of top up. In fact, most of the battery should be done in about 4 hours. If you go DC, it will do up to 150 kilowatt speeds. Now, yes, it doesn't sound as flash as some of these systems that can do 300, 350 kilowatt charging speeds. The reality is someone that has driven over 250,000 kilometers across many parts of Australia in many different EVs, it's very rare that you're going to come across a charger that can do more than 200. It's even more likely that it's going to be somewhere between 125 to 150 unless you are charging at a Tesla charger. So for most people, and particularly on the ChargeFox network, which this comes with as part of its charging package, that is more than suitable at 150 kilowatt speeds. Plus, in all honesty, let's be real, right? Even if you're charging at 50 to 100 kilowatt speeds, most people are going to want to sit down, relax, have a coffee, have a drink. They're not really in this kind of mad dash to get to their next destination. Even myself, when I have done testing where I've been trying to do it in one day and doing a Sydney to Brisbane drive, I still like to stop when I get the opportunity to charge and recharge myself, not just the car. So 150, more than capable. Let's close that up and let's wrap up. So with all that being said, I really, really like the iX. I think it's a car that is incredibly underrated in the premium side of the market. It looks fantastic. It kind of has a futuristic and funky edge while still retaining its awesome BMW way of driving, its BMW feel. You get inside it and it feels everything like a BMW should. It doesn't feel like an EV. It just happens to be an EV, but it's a BMW. There's a very clear distinction there. There's many other luxury brands that I've driven where it's an EV that happens to be the brand that I'm driving, and that's not that good for the brand because it loses that feel that makes you connected to that brand, that makes you want to have that brand each time. So unless you're buying a brand for clout and rather than function and just the appeal of that brand, you don't really want that. You want a car that drives like the brand that you're driving. And that's, I think, what BMW has executed very, very well to all of their EVs. The iX3, I absolutely love and have recommended it to so many people, and so many of my friends that have them absolutely love them. So that being said, that's the review. Thank you for watching. Let me know in the comment section what else you would like to know about this car or any other BMWs, and I'll try to do my best to get you more information on EVs, petrols, diesels, hybrids, whatever you're looking for. We'll try to give you all the info. Until next time, guys, thank you very much.